He just wanted a steak. But what the waitress handed him with the check, that changed everything. Nobody even glanced twice when Daniel walked in, just a slow Wednesday afternoon in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Heat shimmered off the blacktop outside, the kind of heavy silence that presses down on you. The steakhouse sat tucked in a faded strip mall between a liquor store and a check-cashing joint. Nothing special, just another place to grab lunch, pass through, and forget. But Daniel Whitmore wasn't just passing through. He stepped inside wearing worn denim, boots scuffed and cracked from years of wear, a faded cap pulled low, and a brown leather jacket that looked like it had stories to tell. He moved with a quiet, careful confidence, calm, steady, neutral, the kind of posture older black men learn to wear in unfamiliar spaces, not from fear, but from habit. The young host barely looked up from his screen. "Table for one," Daniel said, voice even. "Yeah, sure," the kid mumbled, leading him to a booth near the front window. Table 7. It faced the whole room but gave Daniel a clear view of the kitchen door. He slid into the seat, hands flat on the table, eyes moving, watching, not turning his head. He scanned the place quietly. He picked up the menu, flipped through it like he was new here, but Daniel knew exactly what he wanted. This wasn't just any customer. Daniel was the owner, the founder of what used to be a proud Southern chain, Whitmore's Chop House. Started back in '96 in Tulsa, grew to 17 restaurants across 5 states. Then he stepped back, letting others run day-to-day while he handled operations, partnerships, and lately, the fight to keep his legacy alive. This Fort Smith location? It was bleeding, bad Yelp reviews, slow service, staff turnover, numbers that didn't add up. His team had excuses, but Daniel wasn't interested. He wanted truth, unfiltered. So he came himself, unannounced, undercover. The restaurant was half full, tired, quiet. Servers moved like they were walking on eggshells. The kitchen staff barely peeked out from behind the swinging doors. Then she came to his table. "Afternoon, sir. My name's Jenna. I'll be taking care of you today." Mid to late 20s, white, hair in a messy bun, sleeves rolled up, eyes tired but guarded. "Afternoon," Daniel said. "What do folks usually order here?" Jenna glanced at the menu like it personally offended her. "Ribeye's still decent. Comes with mashed potatoes and collard greens." "Let's do that," Daniel said, closing the menu. "Medium rare." She nodded and walked off without another word. Daniel leaned back, scanning the room slowly. Near the bar, a big guy in a tight polo shirt, buzz cut, arms crossed, watched the staff like they were liabilities. That had to be the manager. The steak came out quicker than expected, cooked right, the plate warm. The kitchen still had some pride left, but the vibe? Wrong. Jenna returned, eyes low, refilled his coffee, then slid a folded receipt across the table. Daniel waited until she walked away, then opened it. It wasn't just a receipt. Inside were 6 words, written in blue ink. "If you're really who I think you are, please don't leave without talking to me." Daniel blinked, read it again. His face didn't change, but inside something shifted. Across the room, in the window's reflection, he caught Jenna watching him, not directly, but enough to know she was serious. He'd come for answers, but now he realized this was bigger than missing money. This had roots, deeper than spreadsheets could fix. He sat still, one hand on his coffee mug, the other clutching the note beneath the table. He didn't look around, didn't react, at least not outwardly, but that note changed everything. Jenna had confirmed 2 things. 1, she knew exactly who he was. 2, something bad was happening here, and it wasn't about slow service. Daniel's eyes drifted back toward the kitchen door. Bryce, the manager, still stood near the pass, clipboard in hand, but clearly watching, controlling the room with silence and presence. The kind of guy who wanted fear, not respect. Daniel stood slowly, dropped some bills on the table, and headed to the front. The host barely looked up. "Have a good night, sir," he mumbled. Daniel didn't respond. Instead of walking out, he turned down the narrow hallway marked "Employees Only," casual enough not to raise suspicion. Behind him, Bryce's voice followed, flat and suspicious. "Sir, restrooms are on the other side." Daniel paused, half-turned, looking for the manager. "That'd be me," Bryce said, stepping forward, arms crossed but voice coated with fake customer service. "You free to talk?" "About what?" "Just a word with my server." Bryce stepped closer, crossing his arms tighter. "You got a complaint, you bring it to me. Don't pull my staff off the floor. That's not how this works. Daniel met his eyes, calm as ever. Then you'll have to get used to it working different. A long pause. Bryce studied him, maybe trying to place him, maybe realizing Daniel wasn't just another customer. Finally, Bryce scoffed. She's probably in the back closing up. Daniel turned and headed down the hall. In the storage closet at the end, Jenna stood carrying a crate of lemons. Her eyes widened, not surprised, but scared, urgent. "What are you doing back here?" she whispered. "Got your note," Daniel said. "Now talk." Jenna glanced around, then pulled him inside the cramped, stuffy closet smelling of cleaning supplies and burnt fryer oil. She closed the door behind them and exhaled. "I wasn't sure if you'd read it or if you'd even still be here. You said something wasn't right." She rubbed her face, exhaustion deep in her bones. "Bryce isn't just rude. He's dangerous. Food deliveries go missing. Liquor counts don't add up. Cash drawers always off, but only on nights he closes. He cuts hours on the schedule, then clocks people out early so payroll doesn't see." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "And no one said anything?" "They're scared," Jenna said bluntly. "We all are. Speak up, and he writes you up for made-up reasons or just cuts your shifts." One server caught him pocketing cash from the bar. She was gone by the weekend. Daniel took it in slowly, expression unreadable. "Why tell me? I worked at your Bentonville spot 6 years ago. You came for the opening. You probably don't remember, but you gave me a $100 tip just for checking on a customer who was choking. Said I had initiative." Daniel blinked. "I remember that. I saw your face today. Didn't think you'd come back. Not like this." Daniel nodded once. "I needed to see it for myself." "Well," Jenna said, "you're seeing it." He studied her, not with suspicion but respect, the kind of man ignored and underestimated learns to give another who's been through the same. "All right," he said finally. "I'm coming back tomorrow, but not as a stranger." Jenna swallowed, glanced at the door. "Then you should leave through the side. Bryce has cameras on the front." Daniel slipped the note back in his pocket. "You going to be all right? I've made it this far." No smile, just a nod as he walked out the back door, knowing one thing for sure: this wasn't just bad management. It was rot. And rot had to be cut out. Daniel didn't go home that night. He checked into a cheap motel 10 minutes away, fluorescent lights, peeling paint, a front desk behind glass. One of those places that asks no questions and offers little besides a bed and 4 walls. The room smelled faintly of cigarettes and bleach, but he didn't mind. He'd stayed in worse. Sitting on the edge of the bed, the crumpled note from Jenna still in his jacket pocket, her words played over in his mind. Dangerous threats, people disappearing from the schedule. He'd always taken pride in building places people wanted to work, especially for those often ignored kitchen staff, single moms, high schoolers, retired vets. The ones society treated like afterthoughts. He never ran perfect restaurants, but he ran fair ones. This wasn't fair. At 10:17 p.m., his phone buzzed. Unknown number. Just a text. Side lot by the dumpster. 11 p.m. Come alone. No fluff, no name, just instructions. Daniel didn't hesitate. By 10:58, he was there, leaning against the brick wall behind the restaurant, eyes on shadows flickering under the security light. Hands in jacket pockets, mind sharp. At 11:03, the back door eased open. Jenna slipped out, hoodie pulled up, moving fast but quiet. She glanced around like someone might be following. "Thanks for showing up," she whispered. "I said I would." "Did anyone see you?" "No," she motioned toward the alley. "Let's walk." They moved in silence until they reached the far side of the lot. The hum of a freezer fan buzzed nearby. Jenna finally turned. "I had to be sure you were serious," she said. "Most people would have thrown that note away. I'm not most people. I'm starting to see that." She pulled a small silver key from her pocket, wrapped in a paper napkin, and handed it to him. "That opens his locker in the back room. Black duffel bag. Burner phone. I've seen him use it when he thinks no one's looking." Daniel raised his brows. "You've been watching him." "Someone has to. This could cost me my job." Jenna scoffed. "My job was already at risk the minute I started asking questions. But I can't keep watching him walk all over people, cutting hours, pocketing cash, firing good staff just for not kissing his ass." Daniel nodded slowly. "You're brave." Jenna shook her head. "I'm tired. The kind of tired black folks know, That deep bone weariness from proving yourself over and over, then staying quiet once you get in the room. He wasn't about to let her carry that burden alone. "I'll go in tomorrow," he said. "Look around. If what you're saying holds up, I'll take care of it." Jenna hesitated. "Bryce doesn't play nice. Neither does Glenn. If this blows up,